Thank you for introducing me, and thank you, the audience. I'm going to talk about retiled Tangram, and what you see on the title page, it's not exactly what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to tell you how to assemble a crocodile from the 7 Tangram pieces. I'm rather going to tell you how to assemble each of the 7 pieces of the classical Tangram puzzle by a full set of the 7 pieces, reduced pieces, of the entire Tangram puzzle. I go back to that in a moment, but just a few words about reptiles. Martin Gardner wrote about reptiles in his column in Scientific American, and later the article was published in Unexpected Hanging. And in origin, the reptiles were shapes, polygons, replaced by smaller copies of themselves, just one shape. And later in 2012, Soros wrote about sets of shapes such that each shape can be replaced by smaller copies of the entire set. And this is similar to what is going to happen with reptile Tangram. On top you see the 7 pieces of the classical Tangram, which are usually sold mounted as a square. And there are 7 pieces, but there are only 3 different shapes, because the triangle appears 5 times. So if you want to solve the puzzle to replace each of the Tangram pieces are also called tans. If you want to replace them by smaller copies of the entire set, you need to do the job only 3 times. Once for the triangle, once for the square, and once for the parallelogram. And this is what you see on the lower row, on the bottom. And then you can do ongoing it. You can replace triangles by a full set of Tangram, and you can replace pair squares, full set of Tangram, and you can do it again and again and again. And you can deflate it, and you can inflate it. You can also take Tangram pieces that are made by Tangram pieces and construct larger and larger and larger Tangrams. One thing that is interesting about reptile Tangram, that you have different scaling factors. You have 3 different scaling factors, because the 7 pieces cover different areas. I color them. The biggest one are the 3 large triangles, which cover 1/4 of the entire game. So if you want to scale down the 7 pieces to cover the larger triangle, you have to scale them down by a half. The scaling factor of how the area needs to be scaled down. Then you have 3 shapes that cover 1/8, each one of them 1/8 of the Tangram, and the smaller triangles, and each of them covers 1/16 of the entire area. I very often used reptile Tangram for classroom activities and for workshop activities, and it's a collaborative competition, so kids learn to compete and to collaborate. First round, everybody receives 1 silhouette. Of course, there are different silhouettes in the classroom, with an appropriately scaled down set of Tangram pieces to assemble the silhouette, like in this example on the left, the square. Other students in the classroom receive other shapes. In the second round, which is collaborative, you need to find partners so that a full set of Tangram made of tans will be in the group. And then the group has to assemble a tan that is made of tans that are made of tans. And this is an example you see on the right. And I ask the kids to sign it. You can see that there are squares and triangles, everything made from tans. At this point, I want to mention that I delivered this activity at workshops organized by Yossi Elran, who will talk on Sunday. And all these children activities at the Weizmann Institute have a very generous connection to Skona, who was the first one to talk this morning. I want to thank her. This is the one. It's the first picture I did with kids. The second one, I delivered the same activity at Achwa Academic College, where I'm teaching now. And I show this picture because it gives you a better message of Israel than what you read in the news. This was a classroom of technical engineers who decided to participate in a professional reformation to become math teachers. Some of them were early Israeli military retirees, and some of them were Bedouins from the Negev, Israeli Arabs from the south, and they had just perfect collaboration. Not only to mount Tangram, they had their own classroom, they insisted on their own coffee machine, The man accompanied the woman to the cars in the evening to make sure they arrived well. It was really nice to work with them. Also, this is Israel. Instead of replacing shapes by even smaller shapes, Tangram pieces by even always smaller Tangram pieces, you can systematically remove some of the shapes. And this takes you to fractals. Again, if you want to calculate the fractal dimension, you need to take into account that we have 3 different scaling factors, and you need to take into account the weights, that there are 3 pieces by the medium scaling factor and 2 pieces each of the larger and the smaller scaling factor. I did this to give you an example. And when I removed all the smaller pieces from the Tangram, except for the 2 large triangles. Yeah. Yes, it's what I need. This is what I need. So I did it again and again and again. What is left? It looks like a line with a few peaks. And if you calculate the fractal dimension, it will be 1. So you have a nice correspondence between the visualization and the math. And because I don't have any time, I leave you with the riddle. I don't tell you the solution. If you scale down, if you replace tans by tans, you have 49 pieces, 7 by 7. In the original game, you have 7 tans of 3 different sizes. How many different sizes will you have in the second round? And how many tans of each size? I have a pint, but I don't have time for it. I have the solution, but I don't have time for it, and I leave it to you. Thank you.